Hello and good evening, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of The Shed. Hashtag Irish Bulls Mafia with me, Trevor. You're very welcome along to the show. This evening, I'm going to review the game week 3 games in the NFL from this current season and talk about a few of them. And there was a lot of upsets in my eyes this weekend. And there was a few statements made this weekend also. And we'll discuss a bit of them as we go along. Um, There's been a few injuries and there's been a few murmurs about different head coaches that could be in bother. And as we go along, we'll talk about them as well. But as you can see, I have a smile on my face. The Bills last night had a brilliant win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, I was at London last year when this game happened, and I expected not as big a victory as last night, but I expected one. And on that given day, the Bills just didn't turn up because they were kind of jet lagged. So last night it was great to get a bit of payback. And to my two friends in Jacksonville, uh, it's since we started doing our shows, that's one each now, so it's not too bad. But I'll start with the Thursday night game. So the Thursday night game was the New England Patriots at the New York Jets. Now the Patriots had a very good start to the season. They won one and the last one, but the one they lost against the Seahawks, there wasn't a lot in it. So I did think that they would push the Jets a long way because on paper and in most people's eyes, the Patriots will finish fourth in the AFC East, and they probably will. Um, the New York Jets are supposed to be the team that's going to challenge the Buffalo Bills for the divisional title. So you expected the Jets to win, and they did win, and Aaron Rodgers and Cope played pretty well. They beat the Patriots fairly comfortably, 24-3. So they are getting their rhythm together. Um, the Patriots are kind of finding the playing field level, and you know they're not that bad of a team. I thought they'd be a lot worse, to be honest. Looking at them last year, but Jared Mayo has done a great job since he came in, and in fairness, at least it was a better scoring game with the Jets this year than there was last year. Then we move on to Sunday's games, and some of the games are scores are shocks, and some of them didn't live up to what they were. But first game that was played in the early part was the Chicago Bears at the Indianapolis Colts. I watched a bit of this game Sunday evening, and you have Caleb Williams, who was the number one draft pick from this year. You have Anthony Richardson. I think he was number 4 for the Colts last year. Now, Anthony was out injured last year for a long time. So he played, I think it was 5 or 6 games, and he looked fairly good. And he came back again this season from his injury. And first game against the Texans, it was a shootout between himself and CJ Stroud, and it looked this is going to be good. But both quarterbacks threw stupid interceptions last Sunday. Now the Colts won 21-16, and they probably deserved to win. But Caleb Williams, who is the number one pick this year, and Bryce Young, who was the number one pick last year, there's not an awful lot between them. And I know Caleb is the year newer and is only starting, but when you see there's an awful lot of pressure on these guys, um, and Bryce Young has been pulled out of the Carolina Panthers because of it. And if Caleb Williams doesn't hit a good game or a decent game pretty soon, I think it could be something that the Bears will be looking at down the road. Because another rookie quarterback I'll be talking in a minute about um, setting the world alight. So how come he can and Caleb can't? Yet there was more about Caleb. Maybe it's the pressure. Maybe that's running too deep. We will see. But the Bears lost. The Colts won. So it was a badly needed victory for the Colts. Now, the next game is, I don't know if it's a shock or not, because the Cleveland Browns were in bother. But the New York Giants went to the Cleveland Browns and they won 21-15. Daniel Jones looked better. Malik Neighbors looks the real deal. On the other side, Deshaun Watson was sacked 8 times, and they don't look like a team that's going to compete whatsoever. They were on paper at the start of the year. They were ready. They had everything, and they do have everything, but they're missing a valuable thing, which is a quarterback. And now Miles Garrett. the defensive player of the year from last year. He got injured. Now, I don't know if he's seriously injured or not, but he took a knock at the weekend, and that could set him back a few days. It could set him back a few weeks. But the Cleveland Browns are in bother. The New York Giants, and I'm kind of happy for them because Brian Dable was a former Bills offensive coordinator, and it's kind of finding their feet. They weren't awful bad against the Commanders the week before, and last weekend they deservedly, and I mean deservedly, when you sack the opponent quarterback 8 times, you deservedly win the game, and well done. Now, this game, if the next game we're going to talk about, the Philadelphia Eagles at the New Orleans Saints. It finished 15-12 the Eagles. This game, I had predicted in my head to be a cricket score. Could be 34-33 or something like that. Uh, the amount of offensive talent that was on it between the New Orleans Saints, Jerry Carr, Chris Olave, and Kamara. Then you have the Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and co. You were going, and I want Saquon Barkley that was the difference in the game. Um, he was the winner for the Philadelphia Eagles, but it was a hard struggle and a hard watch at times. But it finished 15-12 to the Eagles, and fair play to them. I don't think there's much pressure lifted off Nick Sirianni, even though they have 2 victories now for the season. There's still a lot of questions asked of him, and going to be asked of him because it'll be tougher games ahead. But they inflicted the New Orleans Saints first defeat, so uh, away at New Orleans, so it has to be you know, a good step for them. Now, here's one of the shocks of the weekend, and I read the score. You'll have to take a breath for a second. The Houston Texans 7, the Minnesota Vikings 34. C.J. Stroud, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, uh, Joe Nixon. Now I know he was injured, but that's their, you know, he's a running back, but their wide receivers were all there. They were demolished by the Minnesota Vikings and Brian Flores' defense. On the other side, Sam Darnold looks like a man reborn. And fair play to him. I said on Thursday night video, if he wins this game, you have to look at him seriously as a serious quarterback. He's beaten the 49ers last week. He's hammered the Texans this week. And whatever he learned at San Francisco last year, but he's learned from it and he's moved on. And fair play to him. They had a deserving win, and they're now looking like a team that can compete in the NFC North and could push Green Bay and Detroit into a serious title race up there. Um, Justin Jefferson was brilliant. He had a few drops. He seemed to hurt his hand. I'm not sure how serious it is. And they have players coming back. And as I said, uh, Sam Darnold, well done. Then we have another shocker. Denver Broncos 26 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are flying, beat the Detroit Lions the weekend before 7. Again, the defense of the Denver Broncos, they demolished, and Baker Mayfield was leveled. I don't know how many times. I think it was 8. I'm not 100% sure, 7 or 8, but he was sacked 7 or 8 times. And that led the way for Bo Nix and co to go. And Bo Nix looked way ahead of Caleb Williams and has improved under Sean Payton's offense and management. As each week has gone by, and the Broncos deservedly beat the Buccaneers, uh, hands down. And that's another quarterback that looks better than the number 1 pick so far. As I said, the last game of the night, I have another quarterback who's from that pick that is looking better. Um, then we had the Los Angeles Chargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this game was exciting enough because there were 2 teams that could be dogged, but the big thing that came out of it was the quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, he's injured. Joe Alt is also injured. I don't know how long their number 1 pick in this year's draft, Joe Alt, will be out for, but he's a big loss. But Justin Herbert, once he went off, that was the game over. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense and TJ Watt and Cole Hayward, they're amazing. Like Justin Fields is also another quarterback that's improving week by week, and they were a bit more exciting this week than they have been before in offense. But that Steelers defense, that, you know, they're keeping the offense in the game, and it was the defense that helped set up things for the offense as the game went on to win it. And the Steelers won 20 points to 10. Hence, another shocker. The Carolina Panthers at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders last week went to Baltimore and beat them and deservedly beat them. And Gardner Minshew and Devontae Adams and co were outstanding. The Carolina Panthers dropped their number one quarterback Bryce Young this week for Andy Dalton, who was a former Cincinnati Bengal. And it was like someone just lifted the pressure and released it because they just went mad. They won 36-22, deservedly winners. Andy Dalton was absolutely amazing. And if he continues this, the Panthers might have a season yet because it's only week 3. The question will be what happens to Bryce Young afterwards because like they were a team that had only won 2 games in the previous 18 under Bryce Young's quarterback reign, and they take him out. And Dave Canales deserves credit because he's now got his team winning, something that they haven't been used to, and winning with style. So fair play. As for the Raiders, uh, Pierce must be awful disappointed because this was one that you would be ticking off saying we have to win this one. I know there's no given games in the NFL, but um, this was one that they should have won. Then we had the Green Bay Packers at the Tennessee Titans. You had Malik Willis going back to his old ground. They released him. They kept Will Levis, and then you had Will Levis doing the Will Levis that he's been doing the last 3 weeks. And the Green Bay Packers won 30 points to 14, and deservedly did. And Malik Willis sent a statement to the Tennessee Titans saying, "You let the wrong guy go," because they're another team, the Tennessee Titans, who have quarterback issues and are seriously in bother. As Will Levis he does some good things. I will say that, but he does some shocking things. And again, at the weekend, was just another one of them. Then we had the Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I thought the Cardinals would win this one because they were on a good roll, but the Lions won 20 points to 13. Jared Goff had a great game. He outshone Kyler Murray. The offense of the Lions outshone the Arizona offense. And in fairness, Dan Campbell got it right, and they deservedly won the game. But it wasn't a huge win. It was a tight game. There's only one score in it. So the Cardinals still are building, and they're a team that will improve as the year goes on. It's business as usual now for the Lions. They move on, and I think they have a NFC North game next week. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Now we come to the Miami Dolphins at the Seattle Seahawks. No Tua Tagovailoa for Miami Dolphins. They got Skylar Thompson in as quarterback. Skylar Thompson gets injured. Um, Miami Dolphins put up 3 points against the Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith's 24. And I think the Dolphins season is over if they don't get a quarterback soon because I don't think Tua will be back. Like there's 3 concussions in 2 years. It's an awful ask. And if he does come back, you know, can you trust him to stay fit for his sake, not for the team's sake? Because you don't want anything to happen to him. Uh, I'll be in a few minutes. I'll be telling you a wonderful story from the Bills game, but when to his case, it could be a horrible story, and we don't want that. So the Dolphins are in bother. They have all the weapons in the world, and they don't have a quarterback. And the thing is, if they don't get one pretty soon, their season is over. And then you're paying Tariq Hill, paying Jalen Waddle for nothing because if you don't throw them the ball or get them the ball, they're not going to perform for you, and they're just collecting a paycheck. But a little right smile, not the about injuries, but that the divisional team is now going through a rough patch, and that's all teams go through it. We went through it ourselves last year, so they'll have to find a way. Um, then it was a divisional game. in the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams were missing Puka Nacua, Cooper Cup, and then the 49ers were missing Christian McCaffrey and Debo Samuel. And just before the game, George Kittle was out. And from bits I've seen and what I've heard and read, um, Brock Purdy had an amazing game. It wasn't his fault they lost. They did lose 24-27, but Sean McVay has a way of getting this Rams team to rise when you least expect it, and he got them to rise. And Matthew Stafford and co pushed on, and their defense pushed on. There was an amazing play at the end where the 49ers needed a touchdown, and it was the last play, and it went on from, I don't know, was it 30 seconds to a minute, passing the ball over and back, but eventually it broke down. But there was a bit of excitement at the end. But in fairness, the Rams deservedly won, and it has shook that division up because the San Francisco 49ers now have won one and lost two. And, it's not looking too hectic for them so far. But Shanahan will turn things around and he will get his players back. And I expect them, as the season goes on, to improve. Then we had the Baltimore Ravens at the Dallas Cowboys. And the Ravens won 28-25. Pressure is huge in Dallas. Dak Prescott didn't do a lot wrong. But the Ravens just blew them away. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, the running game, just punished the Cowboys defense, who kind of blocked to save their lives. And even though Dak did have a bit of a revival near the end of the game and got to within 3 points, the Cowboys never looked like winning it. And they are now 1-2. They're playing the New York Giants Thursday night. And if it's in New York, if the Giants turn them over, um, McCarthy will be under severe pressure as head coach because he's under it now as it is. As for the Ravens, they're playing us next weekend, and again we'll discuss that Thursday night is a game that you can't but look forward to. Then we had the Kansas City Chiefs at the Atlanta Falcons. The Chiefs won 22-17. Um, I seen some of the clips from this and the highlights from it, and you know how Pitts did not get a flag thrown for him when he was being manhandled beats me. But the Chiefs do seem to get the rub of the green with the flags and the referees at the minute. Now, not taking anything away, they did the job. They got the win. Mahomes and co moved on. Rashee Rice played a very good game. Um, so kind of questions at the minute about Travis Kelce and his fitness. They've said now, and I'm only saying what I've heard, is that he didn't do as much off season as he would normally do, and it's kind of shown, and he looks pretty puffed and out of it on the sideline, and he isn't getting the kind of plays he was last year. Now, Travis Kelce owes nothing to the NFL, but I know he is going for one more year to see can they get the three in a row to be part of that history. But time will tell. Like, for me, Travis Kelce is like the Von Miller of our team, that you just need him to show up on the important plays because you have other guys there. They've done their job. They've done all the hard work over the years. It's now just time for them when you need them, put them on, and players are there. But we'll see how things go as the season progresses. But the Chiefs won, and they're 3-0. Then I'm going to leave our game to last. Sunday night's late game was the Washington Commanders at the Cincinnati Bengals. This is my second rookie quarterback. I'm going to talk about Jaden Daniels. He is class. He is the CJ Stroud of the rookies last year. And the thing is, Carolina are in bother because they picked the wrong quarterback in 2023. Well, it looks like that the Chicago Bears could be in bother for picking the wrong quarterback in 2024 because Jaden Daniels has just improved week after week. And he went to Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and co. into the jungle and put on a performance like the last touchdown to McLaurin, the pass, he got hit as he was throwing the ball, and it was inch perfect to Terry McLaurin, and they deservedly won the game 38-33. Now, I was watching a bit of ESPN earlier today, and they were on about Joe Burrow, and is he at fault for the Buff or for the Cincinnati Bengals, being 0-3? Man had no interceptions. He threw for 3 touchdowns. If he hasn't got a defense, you cannot blame Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is in one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL in the story. And it was just not nice against the Cincinnati Bengals, but it was nice to see Jaden Daniels go in, play against a huge team, a huge quarterback, and it's worked. And I'm delighted for the Commanders, and fair play to Jaden Daniels. Now, we're going to talk about our game. So, the Jacksonville Jaguars came to Buffalo. The Jacksonville Jaguars had beaten us in London last year. I was there. And, if they didn't play out of their skin against us last year, but we didn't perform. But this is a different Buffalo team. And Gabe Davis was playing for the Jaguars last night, as Mitch Morse was. But Gabe Davis didn't get a sniff. The defense was outstanding, right? Our offense was outstanding. Oh, did I say we won 47-10, by the way? And I stayed up and watched it. I got 3.5 hours sleep. That's what I'm going off today. I don't care. I enjoyed it. It was a brilliant game. The atmosphere was something else. Josh Allen. Josh Allen is worth anything. Like, he threw for 263 yards last night, 4 touchdowns, 4 brilliant passes. His completion rate was 76% plus. He had no interceptions. He rushed himself for 44 yards, but it wasn't the kind of Superman 44 yards. It was cute, smart runs that he would make, and he'd only make them if he had to. He threw touchdowns to Kahil Shakir, to Ray Davis, Keon Coleman, sorry. He threw touchdowns to Kahil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Ty Johnson, and Dalton Kincaid. 4 bullets. 4 different types of touchdowns, and it's brilliant that one, wasn't all one guy. Rushing touchdowns, James Cook and Ray Davis. And James Cook had an outstanding game, as did Jamal. Uh, like Kahil Shakir, 6 from 6. This guy just catches the ball. Doesn't matter where you throw it. He catches the ball. Um, Keon Coleman had only 1 reception in the game, but he had only 1 target, and it was a touchdown. Ty Johnson was 3 from 3. Dalton Kincaid was 3 from 5. Then your Russian guys, James Cook was 39 yards, and Ray Davis at 22 yards. They both had touchdowns. Like, this is a team that's a team. Go to defense. Now, the most beautiful thing happened last night, and it was I really enjoyed the offense. Really, really enjoyed the offense because everyone knows Josh Allen is my favorite player, and by a country mile. And he just, sets the world alight in my eyes when I'm watching the Bills play. Last night, Demar Hamlin got his first ever interception. Now, for those who don't follow NFL too much, Demar Hamlin had a cardiac arrest last January, 12 months, on the Cincinnati pitch, and they thought he was dead. Thank God he's not. He came back to life, and in the 2023 season, he was there with the Bills. I seen him in London. He didn't talk. He didn't talk for most games, but people weren't sure, or was he going to come back and play and challenge for the team spot. Demar Hamlin is now our safety, and is our number one. And when he got that interception last night, the place just erupted, and it was emotional, and it was brilliant to watch a young man that had almost died come back, change his life, not give it up, because he wanted to, had teammates that looked after him. And I just thought it was, the moment of the night. The most beautiful moments offensively and defensively. But the moment of the night was that, and the reception he got. And, you know, thank God he's there and he's playing, and, may he continue to get improve and grow with the team every week. But like, for a guy that had, you know, was lucky to be alive, it just shows you, you know, thank God that he's made it, and it's brilliant that he got his interception last night. It was as good as a touchdown, and it got as big a cheer as a touch, and the whole team, and it was just beautiful. That's, I don't want to. They too much get too soppy, but it was, and you live for moments like that, and you enjoy moments like that. On the rest of the defense, there was sacks from AJ Epinesa, Von Miller, Von Solomon, Casey Tuhill, and Jamarcus Ingram. So basically, and not been smart, we destroyed the Jaguars to the point where they're questioning Trevor Lawrence at quarterback after paying him 55 million a year for 5 years. They're questioning Doug Peterson's head coach role, a man that has won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. He has improved the Jacksonville Jaguars, not last night, but over his term. Now they haven't won a game with Trevor Lawrence on the pitch for the last 8 games, going into last season and this season. They are in big trouble, and they're playing. I think it's the Texans at the weekend. I'll confirm it on Thursday night, but they have a divisional game this weekend, and if it goes wrong, their season is as good. They're 0-3. Their season is as good as over. But it's up to themselves. They have players. Uh, Josh Allen or Joshua Hines Allen, as he calls himself now, um, did play all right last night. But quarterback is their issue, and they put on Mac Jones from the Patriots at the end, and Mac Jones is Mac Jones and the Patriots in the story. So they're not going to win games with him. But if they don't find a way to improve Trevor Lawrence, because as from what I see looking at it, he's a quarterback with talent, but he's a quarterback there's no confidence. And if he doesn't get his confidence back soon, he'll become a Bryce Young, and we're a well-paid Bryce Young. On the Bills side, we rested Josh Allen for the fourth quarter. We rested Gregory Rousseau, Demar Hamlin, all your top players were rested. Mitch Trubisky got a quarter, and you know we didn't throw the ball. We just played cute football with it, and it worked. And it was just a brilliant night and a brilliant occasion. And as I said, I'm on 3.5 hours sleep, and we're in the night time here in Ireland now. And I don't care. It was an enjoyable night, and hopefully there's plenty more to come, because we do look like a team, and we look like a team of players that all care about each other. And the first part of success is if you have a team, they all care about each other. That's going to be successful. It's happened in soccer, happens in Gaelic, happens in American football, all sports. They get on well, they work hard together, and there seems to be less tension in our dressing room, and that's the main thing. And long may it continue. So that's my video for tonight, folks. I've just gone through the games. I hope you enjoy it. My Instagrams and Facebook and Twitter profiles, information's along the bottom there. YouTube, you'll find me on at the Irish Blues Mafia as well. I'll be doing tonight's video with a pick, and on this weekend, I'm going up to Dublin on Sunday to the Steelers watch party. So it'll be interesting. It's at Crow Park. I'm looking forward to it, to meet up with a few old friends that got to know them through this. So I'm looking forward to that, and we watch a bit of football up there, and come home for Monday morning. But it's something to look forward to. But I'll discuss the games on Thursday night, and we look forward and give me picks and see how they go. It was a very bad week with picks this week for me. There's a lot of shockers, a lot of things that I thought would happen didn't, and a lot of things that I didn't think would happen did. So you just take the Carolina Panthers. No one in them won the Sundays. Would have put money on them, but they won, and fair play to them. And that's why I don't bet. Just predictions. But anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching. If you want to contact me, all my details are there on the bottom. Please do. If you have any comments or any thoughts, let me know. And as always, stay safe, stay happy. Until Thursday night, go Bills.